I remember going to synagogue with my dad on Sunday mornings. It was a smaller service on Sunday morning, and it was followed by brunch. It smelled good in that old social hall on those mornings. I remember the smell of onion bagels and smoked fish. I remember the taste of the chocolate milk. That was my hot chocolate at the time. I remember the sound of the old men davening or reciting the prayers. I'm not sure how old I was, but those days are vivid in my memories and in my senses. I'm also not sure if I thought about Temple B'nai Amunah as my spiritual home or not. I was young, and there was a lot of ritual and culture, and I remember the spiritual feeling of that empty sanctuary, which was very, very much a special place to be when we were young children in Hebrew school. We would sneak out and go find the sanctuary and go in there. It was a big deal. I definitely felt a sense of community. But I felt that a little more at the synagogue where more of my friends went to, closer to my home and to my school. And so I would go there for bar mitzvahs, and I'd be like, oh man, it doesn't feel this way at my synagogue. Yet from an early age, I knew this was still a part of me, a part of my family, and a part of my culture. There are some here today who grew up Unitarian Universalist, but most adults who now attend Unitarian Universalist congregations have come from other faith traditions or no tradition at all. That 1950s model of attending a house of worship near your house, in your neighborhood, where a part of the local community was in attendance, that tradition still exists for some, but has changed for many, and certainly is different in the era of the destination religious communities or places one attends outside of our regular intimate neighborhood. When I came to Unitarian Universalism from another faith tradition that, frankly, I pretty much had left, I didn't really know what to expect. I read the hymnal to see how many times Jesus was mentioned in the lyrics. I was freaked out the first time I entered the first drum circle that I went to. I definitely didn't want to sit into the pews. I mean, the name is Pew. Like so many, I didn't really know what the word spirit even meant in my life. What I wanted was something that some of us describe on the surface as community, but as I now know is a much deeper need that the word can describe. I wanted to be seen for who I was. I wanted to be a part of something bigger than myself. I wanted to be somewhere where the ritual and the intention helped me get in touch with the divine, whatever that is, something I know when I feel it. I wanted to have a spiritual home that filled me and challenged me, fed me, nurtured me, and comforted me through all the stages and phases of my life. And I wanted something else, something I never really experienced. I wanted that feeling of neighbor loving neighbor, of centering relationships in everything that we do. This is all a part of the motivation behind this welcome forward idea that we've talked so much about this year. Although the theologies, perspectives, and actions of so much of religion in America today is troubling and in some cases downright dangerous, there were and are some good reasons that religious communities have served such an important place in our history. There's a reason that we have the Fall Festival. There's a reason that we have a holiday party on December 3rd. There's a reason that the RE Family Potluck happens every month. There are reasons that we plan events and activities just to be together, to celebrate, to help us connect, to create a sense of community. Celebrating the passages of life, of supporting each other through the stages and ages of life, and the fact that religious communities are one of the last bastions of multi-generational community that we have in this country. But there's another and really important reason. I really believe with everything we are going through and the various paths we could face in this country, We need to have a place of deep and spiritual sustenance that can serve to connect however many as possible on a deeply human and as deeply spiritual a level as possible. We need our children to know places of love and safety. We need both safe and brave spaces for us all. We need a space for connecting neighbor with neighbor. We need a place of intergenerational communication, and we need places to explore and contextualize the big questions of life and the experience of being human. After years of thinking that religion was the opiate of the masses, I have to say that it took courage for me to join this new girlfriend named Alice at her church at the first time. As I've told this story many times, there was a guest speaker on that day. It was the then president of the UUA, Bill Sinkford, who's now the interim minister at All Souls in D.C. He drew me in. The service spoke to me immediately, and it immediately felt like First UU Church of San Diego was a new home for me to explore. I still remember what it smelled like in that old social hall where the services took place because some of the renovations of the sanctuary were going on. And so in that first service, we were in this old, smelly social hall. I still remember the beautiful window in the sanctuary and the huge tree just outside the windows that spoke to me of the beauty of this world. I still remember the countless dishes I washed at event after event, and how I was Alice's boyfriend for the longest time. No one knew my name. I washed dishes at every pagan event there was possible. Listen up, men. And I remember how the water from the big sinks felt on my hands, as well as the stone soup cooking on the stove. This congregation will be what we make of it. If you want an impersonal place where there's some sort of intellectual stimulation in an academic Sunday sermon, I won't speak for Reverend Kristen, but I have never felt much like an intellectual. But this could be that place. This could be a place of superficial relationships, very little threat to our comfort or requiring little or no vulnerability. This could be a place of religious certainty. We can do that as Unitarian Universalists too, by the way, requiring little or no reflection on our parts as to the nature of this faith or exploration of spirit or meaning. But I'm pretty sure that's not what we want. And I also strongly feel this is not what we need. I have to admit I'm worried about what's happening in this hurting and broken world, and yet I do feel like there is an antidote. The antidote is centering relationships. That antidote is opening our hearts and our minds. The antidote is exploring both individually and together what is in us, what is between us, and what is beyond our understanding. And perhaps the biggest antidote is love of neighbor. The effort to be connected, not just in the commons on Sunday, but that connection where we are there for each other in times of need, where we are a community of care and support, where we are reaching out beyond our real or imaginary walls to promote this in our broader community. We are living what is at the heart of Unitarianism, that we are all one, and Universalism, that we need to live, practice, support, and facilitate that we are worthy of love, that we can love, and that we are the embodiment of love. I know it sounds so simple, doesn't it? Well, our future always starts in the next moment. So again, welcome forward. I hope we all enjoy the fall festival, and I pray that our senses on this autumn day are filled with this place. The smell of leaves, the color of the pumpkins, my pumpkin socks, the taste of food, the sights and sounds of these people, you people, we people, and this faith that will continue to challenge us, comfort us, and ask nothing less than to connect deeply and really, really be there for and with each other to support healing and love for ourselves, each other, and this world. For that is what I pray. May that be so, and amen.